Good evening. Welcome to Rainbow and Razor Blades Productions, where chaos reigns in all of our content. Tonight, we are delving into the world of Monte Cook games, The Darkest House. And I did not have Twitch muted, so I got to hear myself double. So give me 1 second while I jump back in. This is a system that can be integrated into any ongoing campaign or used as a short series or one shot like we are experiencing tonight. The system is available as an app, which is what we are going to be using, and it's also going to be available. It is available in hardcover. I happen to have both the copies. This is the hardcover, which has amazing art in it. It is a beefy book. And thankfully, Monte Cook was kind enough to allow us to do a giveaway tonight. We are going to be giving away access to the app or your very own hardcover copy. And the nice thing is also this system only requires us to have 46 and some simple character conversions that only take a few minutes at most. You're going to see that tonight as we have two 5e characters, and we have two characters that we literally just came up with on paper. They're not even associated with a specific system. They're more akin to like a Call of Cthulhu type investigator, but you can literally come up with your own ideas and then just make them work. But before we get into the introduction of what the Darkest House actually is, I'd like to introduce our players. And we're going to go ahead and start with Emmy, please.
You're muted, Em.
And you are muted.
And now she is muted. She wasn't muted, but
I have not heard their voice yet. Like this entire time.
What we're going to do is we're going to switch around while we're doing that, and we're going to go straight to TV while we take a look at that. Can you do your introduction while we figure out Emmy's audio issues?
Certainly. My name is TV Farrell. You can catch me on Twitter at TV Farrell. I'm a regular here on R&R and over on Exquisite Corpse Presents. Tonight I will be playing my own cat, Slurpee, the Tabaxi. Who I had a sheet for out of silliness, and now he's here to stay. And I'm not sure who's up next.
Ian, you go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name's Ian. You can catch me over at the Faeforge Academy, both on Twitch and on Twitter. Today I'm going to be playing Nestor Knickknackle, a Adventure League character that has been from Gen Con to Dragon Con to Beholder Con to that other con, and now has been converted into a Darkest House character and is excited to be delving into the mysteries of the magic behind the haunting of Darkest House. Also, my pronouns are he, him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Emmy, go ahead and
wonderful.
My first time hearing you. Oh my goodness.
Hi guys, I'm St. Marie. My audio connection was trash. I apologize. My pronouns are she, her. I will be playing Gemma Hightower, and if you want to find me on Twitter, it's the M St. Marie.
And B, round us out, please.
That leaves me. All right. Hello, all. My name is B Zelda. You can find me on Twitter as at B_Zelda, podcaster, streamer, TTRPGer. My pronouns are they, them. And I'm going to be playing Valen. Haven't decided. I don't even remember. Did I make up their name?
No.
Okay.
No. So
That's
however
fine.
you want to pronounce it, because they're yours now.
I'm going to change it every time. I'm also trying to decide on how they're going to talk, and I think it's going to be great. Their pronouns might be they, them, might be he, him. We'll see how we're feeling.
Which I didn't say that either. My pronouns are she, her, and Slurpees are he, him, that he's a cat, so.
Pronouns are cat.
Yeah, pronouns are cat.
And my name is Steve. I'm going to be your GM. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be playing the house, which is evil. So it does not really have any necessary pronouns.
Gender evil.
Pronouns are
gender
evil.
hmm And what we're going to do now is we're going to go kind of into what is the house and what is this system, before we actually kind of jump into how the characters find themselves in this house. Um, the best thing that is written is one of the secrets of the house specifically is the house invites you in. The house hates you though. The house wishes to be left alone, but the house is lonely. The house is in pain. The house wants your pain, and the house hates you. Uh, in most horror stories, there are spirits or powers tainting an otherwise mundane house that we've all heard of in our times. In our situation, the house is the actual haunting. If there are angry and pained spirits denied eternal rest within the darkest house, it's the house that's inflicting this upon them and not the other way around. This is
Mm.
the house that hungers, it's the house that collects. This house may be older than most of the world that it intrudes upon. It may be an infection seeping its way into each universe. Perhaps the worlds that the house connects to need the house to store away all their pain, emptiness, and misery. All we know is that all worlds touch the house. The house can be entered and possibly exited from any world. And we'll see that with our collection of characters from different worlds. One thing to remember is while the house might sometimes take active steps to harm others, the interior of the house is what it is because that's the nature of the house. An example is that the plant belladonna isn't poisonous to ingest because of any intention on the plant's part.
Mm.
It's just the nature of the plant and the nature of the creatures that consume it. This is similar to the house. If the house doesn't make sense, that's because it has no interest in doing so, at least from the point of view of us mortal beings. So, as we get started, we're going to first jump into what Nestor and Slurpee have found themselves involved in. Nestor found themselves found the telling of this house that contained treasure and research into occult and the arcane, which obviously piques Nestor's interest. The house is difficult to find as it drifts between worlds and universes. There's even a telling of an item called the lacuna that may allow one to travel beyond time, space, and even death. Um, Nestor was told of an item that allows one to locate the house, a glass or crystal ball of sorts. Contains a black liquid that can lead to the home, lead to the house itself. The problem is it's located in some aristocrat's stuffy house, some Harlech family, but who cares about that? They just have the thing sitting on in some place on a shelf, not understanding what the real power, what this thing could really do. That's where your friend Slurpee comes in. Slurpee, a master rogue, a professional and personal acquaintance of sorts. With their help, it was an easy matter of lifting the ball from the house unsuspected. They essentially you got yourself an assistance of an old seer to determine the essence of the item. And as you look at this ball and the seer continues to look over the ball, you start hearing screams of pain, laughter, and the ball slowly starts filling with black ichor. And as the screaming and anger continues, the black ichor starts pushing against the outside and eventually explodes, wrenching both you and Slurpee in this black ichor. And the next thing you know, you wake up inside the house, not knowing how you've gotten there. Now, Val and Gemma's story is similar. Gemma themselves, as they'll tell us about, and Valen, their research partner, assistant, professional acquaintance also, they've always read of the house. Now, in their situation, some kooky 1970s, 80 haunted house story, something that Gemma has written articles about, had discussions about, because Gemma and Valen are from our world. But the problem is no one could ever agree where this house was located. Was it Connecticut, New York? Was it lost in Louisiana somewhere? It was clear that it was owned by the Harlock family, specifically Philip Harlock, who owned the house, but went missing at some time. But that's when this happened. Some long lost relative died, and when Valen is going through obituaries and other pictures and other things in papers, it showed the item. the relic that you had read about, a ball, again said to be able to locate the home. Gemma, you know you've done countless blogs and articles about this, but old Aelin finally found a solid piece proving this house exists. This ball could be traced back to the house and then tracked down to see where the house is actually from and finally enter the house. That's easy enough to go to a funeral at a home when they don't know what the item's actually worth. Gemma was able to easily access the house, and then simple walking through some of the rooms, and the ball suddenly drops into your purse, and then you're out the door. Well, it's easy, and then you take it back to Valen to look through with their vast collections of book and knowledge deep into the catacombs that is their collection. And again, the laughter and the screaming, the ball filling with the ichor, and then again exploding. And then again, the two of you find yourself into the house as well. And now for everyone else that's going to be viewing, what you're going to be seeing is kind of how we're going to end up running this game. So what you're going to see on the screen here is what the characters see. Again, I like to point to my monitor like you can see what I'm pointing at. I'm going to do this a lot. It's one of the joys of online gaming. So what's going to be in front of the players now as all four of you arrive is to Gemma and to Valen what appears to be a normal 1980s, who knows when, ugly living room. To Slurpee and Nestor, you've never seen anything even kind of remotely kind of like this. It looks like some kind of home, but not necessarily in the aesthetics that you arrive in. But again, as we come into the house, the players may ask for a bit different viewing of each of the rooms, which the app allows us to do very simply, is now we have a top-down view. And so all of our stuff, the players are going to kind of have entered again from here and then can see the rest of the house from there. So if the players are asking for either a first-person view or an overhead, that's where we're able to kind of switch back and forth. But now I will kind of lead us to the players of you both. All four of you are just standing there. Again, you have to remember that with Gemma and Valen, you are literally standing next to, and if Slurpee and Nestor could kind of describe themselves of what Gemma and Valen may see, please do so.
Yeah, would you like to take it away, or?
No, you go first, TV.
All right. Slurpee is a short fella, about maybe 4 feet tall, but definitely a bipedal cat of sorts. Ears, tail, rather than full paws. He's got fingers, and but there's paws, and he's looks like a cat person. All white fur, little black smudge on the forehead, a couple black spotches underneath the clothes. He's wearing a leather jerkin and a sort of leather pair of shorts. The tail is all black, but the rest of him is white. And he is sort of crouched in a way, much the way you always see rogues crouched in movies and video games. But he looks, the fur on his neck is ruffled quite dramatically.
Standing next to Slurpee is a towering 3'6" kind of a middle-aged man with like a tussle of blonde hair on his head, great big green eyes, and he has the most just excited look on his face. Slurpee, we did it! We found a way in! Oh my goodness, I couldn't be more excited if I tried, but I will. I'm so excited!
You're not concerned about the black and the liquid? None of it?
Oh, no, not at all, Sloopy. We knew the price going in. Well, at least I did. Did I tell you about the black goo that would be covering us?
No.
Oh.
My blood. Okay. We're in. There's people here.
Oh, you can see us.
Fellow travelers.
Oh, no, you can.
Hello.
This isn't a fever dream. It can. Gemma, can you pinch me?
Pinched. Consider yourself pinched, Valen.
Ow.
I can't believe this right now.
What?
I thought we were
Okay.
alone.
you're seeing that too. Like that's a I think I'm allergic. Achoo. Yeah, no, that's a cat.
Oh,
That's a
gee,
cat.
sorry, that happens sometimes.
Okay. Achoo. No, it's fine. It's fine. And is that a hairless bipedal cat? Oh, next.
Definitely a cat person hybrid.
I no, I am no cat person at all. I am Nestor Knickknackle, Master of the Arcane, Magus Extraordinaire.
Oh,
Yes.
At that
that's
point, I think
actually
Gemma just kind of leans down and looks at Nestor and goes, "You are fascinating."
What does Nestor see when he looks at Gemma?
When he sees Gemma, he sees a young woman of average height, probably like 5'1", 5'2", dressed very comfortably. She's definitely here to do a job. So her hair is kind of up and out of her face. She's just wearing a comfy sweatshirt with some thick leggings and just some regular, just lace up Vans, just casual. And she's got a little satchel on her where she keeps all of her investigative reporter type stuff, which you'll see throughout the campaign. But yeah, just has all of her little knickknacks in there. She's got great big glasses. She's definitely friendly, but she's also very, very clearly there to do a job. So
Well, I find you to be quite fascinating as well. What is this? What is this book full of? What is this bag full of magical contraptions you have here?
Matt,
don't let it touch your stuff.
well,
Don't.
I wouldn't really call it magic. Want to take a look?
Be careful.
Gladly. And Nestor will, unless he's stopped, just start rifling through Gemma's
Take steps back.
bag, just like picking up everything, like
He's
sniffing
taking
it.
everything out the bag. All right. So
Absolutely.
you got my tape recorder out
Yep.
and on the ground. I put my mouth
Mhm.
near that. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Got
There's
my
a
Contaminated
phone.
now.
Yeah, Nestor's pulling a wand out. There are sparks of like glowing radiance, uh, what some might call magic. Just like he's testing every single thing as it comes out of the bag. He is thoroughly fascinated. And just quick question, GM, are we all covered with black gunk?
No, you are clean and clear, and as if that had not have happened. And kind of actually, can we get a quick Valen, what do you look like when we're seeing you? And then we'll kind of dive into kind of what the room is kind of thing, and then kind of what kind of goes from there.
Mm-hmm. Backing up nervously, trying not to bump into any of the furniture, is I think like a tall and broad individual, light brown skin, hairs, we'll say in like thick dreads that are put up, glasses that are probably been broken a few times. It's got the tape in the middle, scratches all over the lens. You think that they can see, but you're not really sure. They dress in that very like stereotypical like researcher eccentric vibe, where it's layers upon layers of clashing patterns. So like plaid bow tie, pattern shirt, polka dot pants, striped socks, multicolored shoes. It's a whole aesthetic, but they really feel like they don't have any time to spend on what they look like because research has to be done. And they're often sanitizing their hands a lot. A little nervous about cats, I think.
I think Slurpy's keeping clear of Valen at the moment. Like,
Not very cat-like.
well, he's nervous as well. He's very much sort of stalking, it's very cat-like. His tail has started to smooth out a little bit, but it's still pretty fluffy. And he's just kind of making a little perimeter around the room, that cautious way that animals do, sniffing. But I do think are there like a couch of sorts in this room?
Yeah, and kind of what you're looking at here, and what you in the audience is exactly what's in this picture here. Is essentially it's a very mundane looking living room. It's dusty, and there's touch of cobwebs, and at least half the furniture are covered with dusty sheets, and there's dim lighting. The walls are plastered. The windows, there's windows. There's a closet, and then the only other exit leads into a dark room or hallway. It's really hard to tell at this point. There's a piece of paper on the ground near the door, And then as Valen had they have been backing up, like when you kind of turn around behind you, there's a closed door behind you with kind of an old rusty knob to it, kind of rusty hinges, and it looks like the door to an exterior of a house is essentially what everyone is kind of seeing here.
I'm gonna pick up that paper as I make my way around the house. It's just kind of,
And what I will do also here is for the rest of the audience, is kind of, this is essentially what we have here. And then I've also been able to quickly copy and paste the text into the group's Discord. So essentially a handwritten note, appearing like it's torn from a journal, marked February 4th. Marjorie attempted to get me to leave the house today. You've been cooped up in here all winter, she said. I told her I wasn't well and that she should come back another day. I feel fine, of course, but I've no desire to interact with the world today. The girl from the grocery store brings me food and necessities every week. I have no need to walk about in the sun and see the sights. I have all the sights I need here in the house and in my books. Fresh air holds no appeal, particularly in this cold month. Perhaps in spring I'll venture out and make Marjorie happy. Summer, at the latest. February 7th. Heard the child's laughter again today. I suspect there must be some little animals in the walls. And that's essentially what you just see from the paper, is essentially like we said, just something that had been copied out of a journal.
Yeah. Slurpy's gonna scurry across the room, and kind of thrust the note at Nestor. Like, what is this? Look what I found. I found this.
A clue! And Nestor will immediately grab this piece of paper and murmur to himself as he's reading through
Don't
it.
touch that with your bare hands. Do you not have gloves?
No, these are my gnome hands. You'll know when I have my bare hands. Let's see, winter. Come back another day. Okay, went to the grocery store. Necessities every week. Very fascinating. Here. And Nestor will hand this note to Valen as he begins to make very short, pacing back and forth across the room, like thinking motion.
Some of the weirdest, with some of the strangest parchment I've ever seen. Nothing in here. Actually, nothing in here makes sense.
What? Parch? Like, no, this is paper. Like, plastic, simple, recyclable.
Yeah, Valen, from your understanding of touching many books, it's nice paper. Like,
okay, like vellum.
It is someone that has a journal. It's a thicker piece of paper, but it's definitely different than something that would be considered parchment from a long time ago. This is, again, helps you date it to maybe 70s, 80s, maybe older, just depending on how eccentric the individual was and when they had it made. And now that we are kind of moving in, I do not want to forget that we are doing a giveaway tonight. And you can enter the giveaway with keyword Monte, Monte. So ! Monte will enter you into the giveaway. One entry per person, please. And then you have to be present at the end of the stream to be drawn for the giveaway, and then you will need to whisper to me. I need your email address, specifically name and email address. If you want the app, if you want access to the app, and then if you want the hardcover book. If you want that, I will also need your address, your name and address, and then Monte Cook Games will be kind enough to ship that right out to you. In personal experience as a person that has both, if you plan on playing a more at-home game, again, get the book. It does have QR codes on each of the pages for each of the room that we're going to be doing. And so anyone can bring that up on their phone or tablet, even while you're sitting at the table. But otherwise, you're able to access everything else online like we are doing tonight. So go ahead and enter, and then we will kind of move forward. And I promise this is the last time I'll be jumping in with this kind of stuff. Okay. Anyway, as we left off, everyone is in a room. So what you're seeing in front of you, again, the couches, the paper, There's a closet in front of you, and then a doorway, hallway, moving forward. So,
So, um, Gemma, could you just in like a corner? Could we just talk away from the cats?
Yeah, of course.
I'm convinced.
We're the cats now. You know what? I'm
We're
here
the
for it.
hairless cats.
So, so I noticed you guys passing around that piece of paper. Let me take a look at it.
I think I haven't.
Yes.
All right, cool. So we kind of huddle close and we look at this note, this journal entry that was found. And I'm just kind of, just kind of scanning it. And my thing is, well, wait a second. There's a 3-day gap, and then this person starts talking about a child's laughter in the walls. I feel like we shouldn't overlook that. What child in the walls, and why would there also be a little animal in the walls? But let's go back to the fact, Valen, that this person is also talking about a child's laughter. Is this? I mean, did we read anything about child's laughter being heard in the house? I mean, I don't remember writing about anything like that or having it anywhere in my stuff about the
That's
house.
a good question.
So there's definitely something here.
Anything else that we would have known? Can we roll for like wisdom or intelligence or like?
Well, and that's the thing is there's not really going to be, you're going to necessarily roll for anything like that. What kind of information are you trying to gather at this point?
Anything that can be inferred from reading between the lines from this note. Kind of like cross-referencing any existing information that we had.
Yeah, with your amount of research, you know that the Harlock family owned this house. More than likely, it is a piece of the journal of at least one of the owners of the house. But it's strange because you're in the house. Like, you expected to be led to a direction of where the house is located and possibly be able to find some remnants of the house, a location of the house. This just jumped you from what you were hoping to find a starting point, and you have suddenly found yourself at a finish line you didn't know you wanted to be at. Especially with more of a researcher, and Gemma is kind of more of the hands-on individual. Like, you would have been kind of more like mission control, like out there in contact. Okay, what room are you in? Okay, here, let me look this up. Now you're doing field work.
Yeah, it's gross and there's cobwebs everywhere. And the cat hair is just finding its way.
You come to these houses dressed up, Valen. I mean, I always tell you that's why I get comfy, because we're going to be digging around and getting dirty. I go through this every time.
Own anything else? It's fine. Hold on, those cats. Okay. So we're just gonna ignore the fact that there's just like 2 tiny cat-shaped people that appeared right here with us. We're just gonna focus on the book, the house, and ignore the cats.
Yeah. That, as a matter of fact, Valen, how did we get here? And how did any of us get here? I mean, I know Valen, obviously, but I don't know either of you.
Oh, well, Mr. Let's introduce ourselves. My name is Nestor Knickknackle, Wizard Extraordinaire, Magus, Arcanist, and a few other things. This is my companion. Oh, where'd you go?
Sleeping under the sheet. Yeah, no, he's over there. Yeah. Does the other cat have a name? I wasn't.
This is my companion. I'll allow her to introduce herself. Allow him to introduce himself.
Slurpee.
I'm Slurpee.
Right.
I stole an orb from a very well-to-do noble's home.
Wait, stop. And describe the orb.
Hold on. Back up.
Orb.
Which part?
Stolen orb.
The orb.
Specifically, just the orb. I don't care about anything else.
So the orb, to my understanding, according to my companion Nestor here, was supposed to bring us to a house full of riches and mystery.
Yes.
So of course I went and stole the orb, because I was expecting goo, and then it exploded.
As was predicted, yes. It was the arcane ball of Lacune, a magical artifact of sorts that was rotting away in the some noble's house, and my good companion Slurpee here liberated it, and we have used it for its purposes to bring us here to the house, and that's the house with a capital T and a capital H.
Same thing happened to us.
I mean, it didn't explode. Did it explode?
It
No.
exploded, yeah.
That was really okay. That's
It was gross.
huh.
I've touched a lot of gross things, as an investigative journalist, investigating true crime and sketchy houses and murder houses, but that was pretty gross as far as events go.
This, I don't know how to tell you this, but it's going to get significantly worse from here on in.
What? Why? I don't have enough hand sanitizer.
I've noticed that you seem to have a bit of a sneezing allergy, my friend. You said you are
No,
allergic to cats?
No,
Yes.
no. I mean, yes, but no. I'm
GM,
good
at your
in the field.
GM, at your discretion, would
Mhm.
the spell Remove Curse alleviate Valen's cat allergy?
It's entirely possible.
I would
you
consider
haven't-
that a curse.
Can we
You
roll
haven't
for it?
done much in this house yet. You know you were teleported here to something that connects different universes and planes. In your mind, with as much Nestor knows about magic, this would be the easiest and least dangerous thing to test to see if it did work. But yes, definitely, if you want to cast that, then let it rip.
Yeah, for RP purposes, or I guess for internal monologue purposes, if one was to investigate Nestor's diary after all this is over, assuming he makes it, this would be the part where he says that he is trying out some of the magic from that he knows very well to see how well it would work, and he has found a completely willing and unsuspecting subject to be his guinea pig. So
I feel like those would be the two really common curses of the human world, which would be allergies to pets and then like lactose intolerance.
That's true.
yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So Nestor will pull a legit
That's true.
wand out. Like this is now that I'm understanding a bit more about like Gemma and Valen's world they come from. Like this would just be like hocus and then some more pocus. Nestor pulls out a legit wand, waves it around, and literally says "Gamati, gamati, gamati, gook," and then just boops Valen right on the nose, casting a 3rd level spell slot on Remove Curse.
Has that ever been cleaned?
Well, and Valen, as the magic almost encompasses you with this glow, you are no longer sneezing. You still have the same aversion to dirty things and things like that,
That can't
but
be helped.
your sinuses are clear. Even the dust does not seem to bother you. If you had any issues breathing prior to from any kind of dust or mold, it is a breath of fresh air that is minus all the pollen.
And any potential drowsiness, with the usual remedies.
Yes, like this is the most organic possible remedy that you have ever experienced in your life.
Tiny cat, tiny naked cat. I don't remember your name.
Nestor Knickknackle. Please try to remember.
Nestor, right? Okay. This is incredible. I think my eyes aren't itchy. I've never not had itchy eyes. I just assumed everybody's eyeballs always felt like scratches. I think, I could see. Well, no, okay, this is brilliant. We have to keep going.
Excellent. The magic worked as I suspected. Very well.
And then Nestor will then take the wand and boop himself on the head. And this is just the mage pre-adventure nonsense, which makes total sense in Dungeons and Dragons and makes no sense in the real world. Mage armor on himself, casting invisibility on the rogue, casting water breathing on the whole party, just magic everywhere. Like the room gets full of just him casting spell after spell after spell. And Slurpee, if you're okay with it, Nestor would 100% cast invisibility on the rogue because let's get this party started.
Yeah, he's okay with invisibility. I think out of just nerves in general, he has perched himself on the seat of one of the couches and is definitely clawing at it. You know, he's just out of anxiety.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this system is 100%, you know, that mage armor settles on Nestor, and there's almost like there's a glow around Nestor, around almost their entire body that tends to just and then kind of settle into it. But there's a little bit of a glow there, not anything to give off light, but to know that there's almost like there's a protection around him. What this is going to do for Nestor is what we call a bane or a boon. This is going to provide a boon, which is if Nestor ends up getting attacked, but why would that ever happen?
No.
It's going to allow Nestor, for the time being, to, when there is an attack that takes place, be able to roll at advantage with that 2d6, and then kind of go from there. Each of the characters, and we'll kind of share probably some characters, some character sheets a little bit later or near the end when everything is said and done with. There's going to be modifiers to some of our dice rolls, some special abilities and equipment that really only took a couple of minutes to slapdash together. And I think Ian completely did his own for Nestor while we were doing session 0. So it's a quick little thing. So
Very quick.
without further ado, Nestor is a whirlwind of magic and spells, and it is literally kind of like Sword in the Stone of like Merlin, just like you're just seeing magic whip around. Suddenly the cat person disappears and there is a glowing on Nestor, and then everything else starts happening, and then it settles and you're still left in this dark kind of dank room with a closet in front of you and then a black hallway to who knows where.
I'll check down the hallway if you want.
Sounds good.
As you hear
Okay.
the sound from nowhere.
Yeah.
Nestor calls back into the darkness, unfazed.
Somebody's just missing, and you'll probably just barely see like some dust move up from the floor as his little cat paws start making their way down the hallway.
And then Gemma comes around and another dark corner in the dark hallway because while you guys were doing magic, Gemma snuck off down the hallway to find some ghosts.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
So
About time you guys got here.
Yeah.
Trying to find
So
some
both,
ghosts.
yep, Gemma and Slurpee, you have went into the hallway, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You're finding that the hallway leading out from this living room is completely dark. Like there is absolutely nothing that's able to permeate this darkness. And anyone that's been in a pitch black room, you can sometimes see something that's a little bit darker than the darkness that you're already in, whether it be a door or an opening. And almost it seems way down this hallway, you see something that's even a little bit darker, like there might be another exit on this other side of the room. But currently, there is no light in this hallway. You can see absolutely nothing.
I'll be the 5e jerk and say, "What about my dark vision?"
That
Yeah.
does not,
Somebody
that
had
does
to.
not actually help.
I had to
Ooh,
try.
I'm guessing the flashlight
In-
in my little satchel is not going to help either.
Well, did you turn on your flashlight?
No,
Yes.
not yet, but I'm going to turn on my flashlight.
So when you turn on your flashlight, the button clicks and then the light starts to escape the flashlight, and then nothing happens. So it is actually like, light is supposed to be emitting from this flashlight because the end is almost lit up, and then it's just darkness. There is nothing
Interesting.
coming out of your flashlight. So you know that it is not a mechanical failure or a battery failure. These batteries are working, that bulb is working, but there is no light that's able to be emitted.
Interesting. So the dark, I just kind of looked down at my flashlight, and I probably should be nervous, but this is actually kind of cool and really interesting. I just kind of say out loud to nobody in particular, but just interesting.
You
The
hear
dark
from,
is eating anything even remotely reflective.
you hear from your shoulder. That's weird.
Hey, whoa, hey, baby, whoa.
Sorry, I can usually see pretty good in the dark. I can't see anything.
Do you have a bell or anything to like announce you before you just walk up on me in the dark?
Well, I'm invisible, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm sorry, just because I'll try to cast dancing lights and see if a couple of little globes of light will appear at
Ooh.
all.
And Slurpee, you have cast this spell numerous times. This is your I'm a little scared, like I need to make a distraction, like this is your go-to. And then that's why exactly you feel the spell leave your hands and you see your favorite little motes kind of drifting up and away. And as you will them to move, they don't snuff out. Like you've seen dispel magics, you've seen counter spells, you've seen everything involved in your adventures with Nestor. Those lights are still out there. Like you can move the lights, but nothing emits from them. You can't see them the minute that they leave your hand.
Oh,
And
this
again, you're just
is
in this hallway and you know that there's you feel that there's an exit farther down, but as of right now, nothing.
this is some strange magic. It's definitely eating up all the light. I don't know about this one.
From like in the living room still you just hear, is it safe to go in there yet? Kind of scary looking.
Yeah, yes, Valen, come on in.
Yeah, okay, no, I trust you
Nestor,
implicitly.
come on in.
And I'll bring Nestor, the gnome, naked, hairless cat.
Slurpee's gonna just run full tilt forwards, hoping to maybe get to the other side of this darkness.
We just hear a very disconcerting thump, 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 thump.
You just hear like,
What is happening outside? Hold on one second, guys.
Literally outside. That was good.
oh dear.
Wow.
Ian had an internet crash and is currently rebooting. And so Nestor is truly in the dark. So now there's 4 brand new friends in the dark, and is everyone just kind of continuing forward? Are you heading back? What's kind of the direction we're going from here?
Well,
I love my
cat took
dark
off
face,
running.
guys. Sorry.
Okay,
Oh, no, you're
that's
good.
the part I missed when I saw Ian's message come up. So Slurpee,
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, Slurpee
you're
just
good.
ran full tilt forwards in the hopes of getting to the other side of the darkness.
And so yeah, as Slurpee, as your speed and quickness takes hold, which has gotten you out of many jams, you're just sprinting forward and the darkness is even is just moving past you, and you could have probably only moved 20 or 30 feet, and then instantly you find yourself kind of sliding to a stop into like a warehouse. Like you've seen warehouses before, you've been in plenty that you weren't supposed to be in, and the room is huge. It has wooden flooring, brick walls, like brick pillars that rise to the ceiling, and the pillars are all in just a single row. But from the doorway, it's literally impossible to see the left-hand side of the room. It's again just too dark. And the right-hand side of the room, the brick wall has a bunch of windows placed up really high. It's dark on the outside, but there seems to be some light coming in, but you're not really able to determine the source. And the minute you crossed into this room, your dancing lights were almost there to meet you and have again just lit up the area.
I'll call back down the hallway. There is a room at the back here. If you just kind of head forward, eventually you'll reach it.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay. And then I just kind of turn around and say, all right, come on. And then I don't run,
I can't see.
but I walk quickly. And I reach back and I grab Valen's hand because Valen sounds really nervous. So I just kind of grab Valen's hand. And we just kind of make our way down to where Slurpee is. Nestor, you coming?
Oh, I've been here the entire time. Nestor has
gosh.
just grabbed the like tail of Valen's tailcoat and is just sort of like following
Didn't
along.
even see you.
Buddy
Oh.
system. I like this.
So we find ourselves in this strange warehouse.
type
Mhm.
room with these brick columns, and there are windows. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's windows. There's windows off to the right that are dark on the outside, but there seems to be some light coming in. Like looks like moonlight, starlight, something along those lines.
I notice here on the left-hand side of the illustration that shows
I was
this
just typing
room.
that out.
Uh, the left-hand side of the illustration of the room that's showing this, it seems completely black. Is that the room of darkness that we just came from?
No, the room of darkness is
Or the hallway
right
of darkness?
behind you. Yep.
Okay,
So the
that's what I
hallway of
thought.
darkness
Okay.
that is going to be behind you.
Ah,
So
yep, there it is.
again, from the top down, the top down again, you're going to see me pointing to my monitor. The doorway there, the pillars, and then the windows to the
Excellent. Hmm. Slurpee, could you please direct your lights over to, and then Nestor motions to the darkness over there. That darkness over there.
I'll give it a try, but it didn't work in the hallway, and I'll direct the globes of light over towards that corner of the room.
And as the lights kind of move away, you can see again the wooden flooring kind of again extending and extending and extending, and then you're not really sure. The room just keeps going. You're seeing kind of some reflections, and then you're seeing where there's some holes in the floorboards, like they had been the floorboards had been pried up, and there's kind of like a hole deep in the ground, kind of like into where the pried up floorboards are.
This place is fascinating. I think I've got to start taking some notes. And I'm just gonna like measure. I'm gonna make it canon that I have one of those little hand measuring tapes.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
want to measure some of the dimensions of like the posts and like the distances between each of them. This is the stuff that really fascinates me.
Yeah, with the distance between the posts, and you're trying to also, Valen, you're trying to gauge like building practices based on years. Like
Mhm.
what were the building codes related to each years made by the distance of these posts? The posts are maybe like look to be about 30 feet apart, and they run straight up into the ceiling, but it's strange because there's no like there's no other wood coming out to like extend to extend this support. Like they're just running straight up into the ceiling. it's not
Hmm.
it's not OSHA compliant. Like this is this isn't. You can tell with the floorboards, like you're not sure is this from the 30s, is this from the 40s. Like it's tough to nail down, but every single pillar that you can see 3 or 4 in is the exact same distance um between the next one down to like the inch. Like it's quite surprising with how old it is, but how specifically everything is repeated. And as you're looking at, like, you get to like the third or fourth pillar, if Valen's getting really into this, the
Oh yeah.
pillars start repeating themselves.
Oh.
It's impossible with this make and model. Like you see this when you go to home improvement stores where they paste the tiling up, like the backsplashes repeat themselves. it's
Yeah.
imp- it's impossible with this kind of craftsmanship that they would have been able to copy this sixth pillar like it looks like the first. This is a repeat. And just as you're doing that, just as you're seeing that, you hear the soft giggling of a young child somewhere in the darkness.
Does anyone else hear that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did anyone else hear
No,
that?
no, just Valen hears that.
Oh gosh, so you see them like with their like little notepad and like measuring tape and like making notes, and then they freeze. And I'm trying to imagine what kind of like uh kind of a squeak would come out of them. I think it's a little bit mouse-like, but very high pitched. Like um do we see any children? Gemma.
What's up? Hey, what's up? I turn over from where I'm currently just taking some notes in the light.
You didn't hear the kid laughing like from the original note?
What? No, I didn't hear the kid from the original note because I wasn't there.
And then
It was just
Gemma,
like 2 feet away.
right as Valen explains that to you, you just hear a and then slowly everyone else starts to hear it.
I think Slurpee was in the process of climbing up the wall to look out the window.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, checks out.
And just kind of like, it's very much one of those. You hear that?
I think
goes
Gemma
up
was
a
in the
little.
process of asking Slurpee or Nestor if they were the ones giggling. Because obviously it wouldn't register to me that Valen heard giggling. So and as I was turning around to ask, like, hey, was that one of you? It just kind of dies on my lips when I realize that everyone else is kind of seeing or kind of hearing something funny.
Yeah.
Nestor has made his way over to this dark pit in the floor because I mean treasure, and is looking down through the rooted up floorboards when he hears this laughter. Does the laughter sound like it's coming from beneath or around?
No, it sounds like it's coming from the darkness. And as Slurpee lost interest in their lights and went to the windows and started climbing up, you can see much past the lights into the darkness. There is a brief form that moves around, and it's not much bigger than you. But it ran back into the darkness, and you're hanging out next to the pried up hole in the ground.
I did hear a laughter. It might have been this strange little man down here. Excuse me,
What?
sir.
What strange little man? No, don't go down there.
I'm going down.
Nestor.
No, Nestor, no.
How far is the drop?
No, just to clarify, you saw the creature or whatever that was in the darkness in the room.
Oh, in the
You don't
room.
know what's down in the hole.
Oh,
I
that's
see.
the
I
hole.
see.
Yep, the hole itself, it's kind of pried up through the subfloor. It's only maybe, well, for Nestor, it's probably your height down a little bit, and then kind of curves to the side a little bit.
Well, I mean, our fans have spoken. They have said, follow the creature, follow the creature, follow the creature, follow it now. So I feel compelled. I see this creature in the darkness, and you said it just sort of like fades away from like our field of vision. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a strange man who seems to be scurrying away in the darkness while this odd and discerning child's laughter is echoing. I'm going to follow him.
What? No, that sounds terrible.
Maybe don't follow it, but let's follow it.
Preservation. Gemma, no,
I'm gonna
not
go
you
with
too.
him. I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go.
Gosh.
And I
Can
follow
Slurpee
Nestor
can
into the
Slurpee
dark.
can Slurpee get a quick look out the window?
Yeah, 100%. As Slurpee, as your claws dig into the brick, and the brick kind of crumbles under your claws a little bit. And as kind of Gemma and Valen, they're not necessarily paying attention, but these are real claws that grind into this brick and mortar, and you easily find purchase as you're going up. And it is a glass window with looks to be some kind of metal in between the panes, pretty thick pane glass, and it is pitch black outside. You cannot see anything outside. Like, there is no moonlight, there is no stars, there is no sky. It is as if a black wall was painted outside.
That there is light in the room.
Great. Love
Indeed.
that.
So,
Okay.
and then, as we're moving back to Nestor, Nestor, you are kind of moving, and we'll kind of do, we'll try to do, let's do an investigation. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do here is, since this isn't necessarily in your wheelhouse, we're going to use Nestor's overall rating. All the characters have an overall rating of 4. So
Yes.
what Nestor's going to do is roll their 2d6, add their rating of 4 to that roll. You're trying to get a 7 or above, and then we're going to kind of do an investigation check, because I know what the hiding skill is of the creature you're following, and I will do the subtraction of that on the
Okay.
outside and let you know if that's, and then we will kind of move the story along from there.
Gotcha. Sounds great. So, and I'm rolling the house die as well, right? Because we always roll the house die.
Yeah, so you roll the house die. Actually, can you roll a boon for me? So roll with your 2d6 with advantage, because you do have dark vision, and there are some dancing lights that are up.
All right. Rolled. Let's see here. So with boon, I'm going to drop the lowest dice.
Mhm.
That's an 8 on my 2d6 plus 4
Nice.
is 12. I
Yep.
rolled a 4 on my house die, and I rolled a 3 and a 5 on my non-house die. So
Okay. Yep. Wonderful. And the reason that if the house die is your highest dice roll, then the house acts and certain things take place. So Nestor, I don't think Nestor's the type to necessarily sprint and run. That's what you have Slurpee for. Nestor is able to kind of slowly move forward, and the figure keeps moving just a little bit out of your distance. You're not able to you're not able to find it. But then what you start seeing is you start kind of getting a little bit lost in the dark, and with Nestor's intelligence,
Hmm.
the room is starting to repeat itself. You're moving farther and farther away from your group, but eventually, as Nestor's trying to kind of chase down this individual, you come across the hole in the floor again. You weren't able to find the group, but you end up walking right past that same hole in the floor. But you also know that the group is a good 60 to 80 feet away from you by now, because you can hear Valen having a fit about it. And having a fit of, you are doing the exact wrong thing at this time. And you're still able to almost kind of see Slurpee up in the window.
If Nestor takes a few steps backwards away from the creature, does the creature also like maintain to be right at the edge of his vision? Okay, he
No,
loses sight.
it's kind of gone at this point. You're getting the feeling that it's still there, and you're starting to hear a little bit of giggles here and there, and some footsteps kind of in the distance a little bit, and you're not quite sure what's happening with that. And you've dealt with wraiths, ghosts. This isn't your first wheelhouse that there's a spirit going around, and you're not sure. It's not trying to tell you anything as far as you can tell, but it's not specifically ominous, so you're not sure if this is something to dissuade others from being in here, but you're not quite sure yet. But it appears to be a minor spirit from what you can tell. That doesn't mean it can't do damage, but it's nothing serious. It's nothing that would actually scare Nestor very much.
I mean, I gotta say, as a testament to your DM style, you are correct. Nestor is not scared by this at all. I, as a player, am effing terrified. So usually I have to roleplay the other direction. So this is a stretch for me. Because if Ian was in this position, he would be like, Ian, what would you have a death wish? What's going on right now? But no, Nestor strides bravely forth, and he calls back to the group.
There's something seriously wrong with this house.
What was your first hint, Nestor?
You think?
I seem to keep finding this hole in the floor, but I can't seem to find our elusive quarry. Perhaps if I get lost in the darkness and look for the hole, I will find my quarry.
Don't disappear further in, Nestor.
I think I've deduced it. There's a bit of a repeating pattern. It happens every 6 posts or so, and it seems like that there's probably another floor. It's nothing that a person could have created in the time that I've probably allocated the creation of this house to be. It just doesn't make any sense.
Agreed. I'm walking back now.
I just think, Nestor, it's probably a bad idea for you to go off on your own. You're not exactly the hardiest of people.
That's completely accurate.
And now that we actually think about this, you're just hearing Slurpee's voice from up by the windows. No one actually saw Slurpee climb up this wall. They are still invisible, as this invisibility lasts for quite an hour. And there's been no attack or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm just hearing Slurpee's voice.
Yeah. No, technically with the casting of the dancing lights, they might have dropped it, but that's not as much fun.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I just
No, this is more fun with Slurpee running around being invisible. So we're going to just keep this invisibility going at this point as we can. So yeah, as Nestor comes back, Nestor, you leave behind the hole in the ground to come across the hole in the ground in the same location that it was before. And you come, and everyone sees Nestor come back into the light and is otherwise no worse for wear. And there's not an issue. There's an issue of, if Nestor, if I'm correct, there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of excitement, and there's some caution involved, but really you're dealing with a minor spirit who's trying to keep us out, and we are above and beyond anything as mindless as that silly spirit.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right.
Nestor's going to try. Nestor's going to call Slurpee and Valen and Gemma's attention. Gemma or Gemma? Gemma. And Gemma's attention over to this hole in the floor because he has some suspicions and is going to. You said it wasn't that. It was just like basically there's like a dirt floor underneath the wooden floor here.
Yeah, there's old planked wooden flooring like you'd see in very old timey warehouses, and then essentially a dirt floor underneath, and then the dirt floor has been it looks like it's not necessarily that it's been dug out, but there's just a probably a Nestor width a little bit wider of a hole in the ground that kind of moves off, curves off to, if you're looking at the hole, it curves off to the right a little bit. Like nothing,
okay.
Like there's not some deep chasm in there or anything like that, but there's definitely a hole down there.
I do want to say, I think there is probably at least a vague sense of where Slurpee is as he's invisible. I think the range on the dancing lights is, I think, 30 feet. Oh no, I'm a liar. 120. There is no vague sense of where Slurpee is.
There we go. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought 30, but.
Well, anyway. I think because it was also, I had said you had lost interest in the dancing lights and then just headed over to the window, so those lights haven't moved until Slurpee literally asked them to move.
Around. Yeah. But he will skitter down from the wall and maybe direct the lights over towards the hole and maybe even send one down.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And then everyone's able to kind of see this little, it's like a little firefly. As Gemma and Valen, you've definitely seen fireflies and stuff, and they're like this little bright little, almost multicolored little firefly just circles down into the hole as it kind of bounces and sways. And Nestor, you probably have the best look of this. In a little bit down in the bottom of this hole, there is what appears to be a clock. And now that the clock comes into vision, you can kind of hear this just simple, just tick tock. And as it kind of, the light gets closer to it, it's kind of a large metallic object, and it's kind of an ornate pewter style clock with just two clock faces, and each of them are showing just a different time.
That's more than enough. Nestor jumps in.
Yeah.
You want this clock.
And then you kind of slide down, and Nestor, you're able to easily pick up that clock. And you'll probably need a little bit of help getting out of the hole because this clock is a bit of a decent size.
Because it is the funniest, Nestor turns to Valen for help.
And Valen, you essentially see this child-sized old man with dirt on him now, holding this, of course, it probably cursed clock, and
with a
face. Yeah, and essentially is asking for uppies. In the most place you have ever been in. This is a bad day.
What? I don't have the capacity to help. I just really fall that far down, and you're kind of covered in
No,
gross.
it's very just reach down and grab this clock.
Oh, hold on, and I'm gonna like pull out from like my belt loop. I have a cane, and it's got like I don't know what's a cool animal that's not a lion that everybody puts on a cane.
Bulldog,
Snake?
a French bulldog.
Raven, an owl.
uh,
Um,
give me something else. We're so close. Like,
Oh,
a
a
hippo.
raven's
Hippo.
skull.
You could do a
oh,
hippo.
a hippo. Sold on hippo.
A
Hippos are
flamingo.
fun.
A flamingo.
Most
Ooh,
dangerous
flamingos
animal in
are
the world,
good.
the hippo.
That's right.
We're gonna
Flamingo.
go flamingo just because they're weird and they eat food to go pink, and I think that's fun.
Mhm.
And it's also the original mythology animal of the feast.
I guess I would ask, Valen, do you
Because
want to not touch the clock and still get it out of
they
the
were
hole?
Yeah,
they were in
Do you want to do that?
I'm not touching that. I want to like loop it around my flamingo cane now and kind of hopefully like wobbly pull it out.
Do you want to use your mind and pull it out?
Use your
Right.
mind.
And so
believe in yourself.
if Valen, if you don't mind, if I kind of narrate this, the
Please.
sense of anxiety with this dirt covered old man holding this cursed clock, and you pull your cane out almost, and then your anxiety gets so bad. It's similar to when your library would be such a mess that your mind would arrange the books for you.
Yes.
And so you the frustration, and sometimes it happens easily when you're calm as well, but the clock just moves out of this dirty man's hands, moves
Thank you.
up, moves to the left, and is then just set back down. This is not strange for Nestor. This is not strange for Slurpee. Gemma, I don't know if you've seen this before, or if you've seen
Yeah,
Valen
I've
do this
seen it before. I'm like,
or not.
Valen's stressed again.
You know, it's like a stress thing.
Valen's overwhelmed, guys. Excuse me,
So-
folks. Valen's overwhelmed.
There we go. There we go.
So yes, and so essentially they have used a form of telekinesis to move this clock out. And Nestor, are you climbing yourself out, or are you literally asking for uppies?
Nestor will do his best to scramble up. If no one helps him, he will just continue to scramble boy.
I'm gonna get
I
down
won't.
on my stomach and lean into the hole kind of with my
Oh.
right arm. And I just reach out for Nestor to grab my arm. And all right,
Aw.
He
let's
weighs
go.
all of 35 pounds. So
You take your man baby out of the hole,
Yep.
Oh,
and
pick up
you're
my
very strong.
pick up my adult baby.
everyone
Thank
is
you.
is back on solid ground. And then as the ticking clock is left sitting on its own, you again hear a giggling in the background. Silly adults, you'll never get out. And again you hear little pads of footsteps,
Out
and
loud,
then
Slurpee
the
goes,
clock
"Where are we
is
trying to get?"
yours.
I thought we were exploring.
I wanted to investigate, but eventually we'll have to leave. That's a good threat, though, you know? Just, well, no, I would love to stay in here and study, but not if it was like this.
I think we should keep moving.
Can we? But where is the cat? Is the cat with the hair? Is that one still around?
I'll drop invisibility. I do feel
Okay.
I feel at this
Yeah.
point, it's not so much that I don't think it might be beneficial, but I feel like if the house is gonna find me, the house is gonna find me.
probably
Like
true.
there's this sense of
Yeah.
like at least they can see me, and like I'm sure
Someone
I'm
sees me.
I'm sure they're in like a group, and he's just kind of appears, and he's like, "Hi,
Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
Were you there the
Sorry.
whole time?
yeah."
What?
you need a bell. A bell.
Oh. I feel
Alright.
like I should be sneezing, and yet I'm not, but I feel internally I'm feeling the sneezes. Know that.
You
Know
listen,
that, Slurpee.
for first time adventurers, you guys are doing great.
Oh, is that what the problem is? This is your very first haunting.
It
Yes.
can't be. It can't
No,
be their
no, not
first.
at all.
Oh, no, not their
No,
first
no, no,
haunting.
no, you have
It's
it
just my
wrong.
first
We're the
group haunting.
professionals.
I'm used to being haunted solo, one-on-one, you know, and this is my
Oh,
first
yes.
group project.
Yeah, the
okay.
group dynamics do throw things a little bit, yeah. But we can get more done together than we can alone. For example, look at this beautiful clock.
And Nestor is going to pick it up and just start gnome tinkering away with it. Detect magic,
Are you
just
just gonna touch that?
Oh, I'm fiddling away.
Monster!
Yeah, the clock is magical. You do know that the clock is magical. But the problem is when you kind of do either just an identify or detect magic on it, this is the first time if you do an identify that it does not actually tell you what it does. Effectively in your mind it gives you what is the equivalent of the middle finger if you try to identify it.
This clock is a rude boy.
But it is magical. The time is set to the one on the right is set to 9 p.m. and the one on the left is set to 7 p.m.
Are there any markings on the back of the clock or anywhere on the clock? Can we look at that?
Yeah, when you turn the clock around, you can see it's well made. There's small inset screws into the back, but there is no like maker's mark on this clock. Which is very surprising with like kind of this ornate of a piece that doesn't have some kind of year, it doesn't have some kind of maker's mark. It essentially is just a really, really nice clock that still works, even though it was down in some hole. And again is just kind of ticking away, and they're a couple hours apart.
Okay. So judging by the fact that there are no marks on it, is it guys, excuse me.
It's tough.
hey
It
y'all.
is. No, I don't get I don't think this clock is from the same time as we are. I think this clock is from someplace else. I mean, I don't think this clock was came with the house. Does that make sense?
Can I
Kind of.
can I try to open the clock up?
Yeah. Are you trying to pull the faces off, or are you trying to unscrew the back?
I guess I'll try and unscrew the back if I can.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of pop a claw out or pop. Oh, you have thieves' tools, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah, you find something that's the equivalent to a screwdriver and start messing with the screws in the back, and they spin and they spin and they spin and they don't come out. As you're kind of get to the metal plate itself, you start prying on the metal plate, and I need you to roll a 2d6 for me. And then add
And that
let me pull up
house die?
quick.
2d6 and the house
yeah.
die, you said?
Yeah, add 6 to it because your dexterity is we're using your dexterity as a 6, so add 6 to it instead of 4.
So I'm adding 6 to the house die?
No, you're adding 6 to your 2d6.
Okay. That's 15, and then the house die was a 2.
Okay, so your house die was not the highest you rolled.
No.
Not the highest single die you rolled.
No, yeah, the highest single die, I got a 6 on one of the other die.
Yep, yeah. And so without a doubt, Slurpee, you know that you're moving and you're prying and you're messing with these screws, and you come to the conclusion and you're able to carefully pry this metal plate off the back, and there's nothing under it. It's completely solid. This clock is completely solid. There is no mechanism in this clock, but the clock is ticking and the time pieces are moving, but there is no mechanism that would make this ticking noise. This is not a normal clock at all, which again, Nestor has determined that it is a magical clock, but there's nothing back there. You know, there's the clock faces in front, there's the hard metal pieces that the clock's made out of, and that's it.
I'm gonna, just to double check on that, I'm gonna take the clock, my earring. Shake it.
Yep. Nothing.
No noise.
You're hearing the ticking of the clock, like you would with any other ornate timepiece.
He puts it back down on the ground and goes, "That thing's solid. There's nothing in there."
Clearly some kind of magical artifact. A curio! We will study this later at the laboratory. But for now, we shall
you all just touched and took apart a potentially incredibly rare artifact, and you shook it. I just, are you not investigators or archaeologists?
An
Oh
archaeologist?
no, I'm a thief.
Yes. And I'm a wizard.
I don't know,
Do
Valen.
either of you,
Judging by
either
the
of
fact
you
that there's
know-
nothing in there.
do either of you know what time it is? Like actually time? Do anybody have an actual clock or anything?
I got my cell phone. Hold on, I
I
just.
pull up my phone.
What is this magic?
What's
Yeah.
what's
Oh,
What?
oh, this
I'm
is
gonna
what
go
you
ahead
meant
and
by
just
a
sort of
magic wand earlier. No, oh no, it's a cell phone, Nestor. You make phone calls on it. Oh, wait, I don't think you had phones.
What do you mean they don't have
Just for the
phones? Is it
sake
'cause
of
he
moving
uses
the
a
story
stick?
forward, we're just gonna package up the whole wizard sees a
Yeah.
cell phone scene, and we're just gonna put
Yeah,
that in the
this
A little
is,
bit of time.
you do not have service where you are. There's no service. There's no Wi-Fi, but it is 8:45 p.m.
Does the time match on the clock at all?
No, one said
Nope.
9 and one said 7 p.m.
But you said they're moving.
Yes, they are. So now that you've been here, it's probably like 9:05 and 7:05. They're moving at the same time, but they tell a different time.
Okay. Just so the times don't match.
Yep.
Okay.
Nope, they do not.
Nestor feels comfortable taking this magical artifact of. I mean, we're Nestor goes and says, well,
We're here to find artifacts and strange objects of power. I feel like this qualifies, so we'll put this in the bag. And
You're stealing it, and then what? And then you're just gonna sell it to?
what? No, I'm going to research it exhaustively.
Would sell it.
Oh,
Yeah, as Nestor, you're able to put it back in, as Nestor's moving to put it back in your bag, like Slurpee, you're noticing that the timepieces, are able to be touched and moved. Like those are the only things that even close to move on this item itself.
Well, if it's enchanted, I think the only part of it that's enchanted is the clock face and the hands, because the rest of it is just wood.
Let's bring it with us.
carefully. Don't just throw it in your bag. I don't. Do you carry around like a bag of relics?
Nestor looks into his bag, smiles, closes the bag, and says,
Let's keep going.
Oh wow.
I never filled out Slurpee's inventory, but I love the idea that both of them could just start pulling out weird magic
Oh my
items and be
God.
like, "Yeah, we're full of them. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?"
And-
I've been researching that for years.
And actually, at this point, this is going to be, now that we have a clock and a bag, we're probably going to be taking a break.
Whoa.
Now
Clock and a
that we
bag,
have
time
kind
for a
of
break.
settled the room and all, so we're going to be taking a break for between probably only like 5 to 7 minutes, if that's okay with everyone.
Absolutely.
And then we'll pop back and see if we can figure that the group can figure a way out of this room. So again, thank you everyone for joining us at this part of our journey, and then we will move forward from there, and we'll see you in about 5 to 7 minutes.
See ya.
Welcome back to our Darkest House stream on Rainbow and Razor Blaze Production. Again, my name is Steve. I go by Hermes4939, most places on the internet. If you have not already, make sure you do enter our giveaway to receive a copy of The Darkest House if you win the giveaway. Again, the code is Monte, MONTE, so !Monte to enter the giveaway. Where we last left off our ragtag group of people from different universes. We are in the dark room that we see with our at least repeating pillars, some holes in the ground, and a fancy clock that was found with some magical clock faces and a wandering spirit that appears to be moving around the room. I believe we had left off with Nestor, who had recently pocketed the clock in their bag.
perhaps we should try now to find a way to find a way out of this house.
I think that's a good idea, Nestor. Did you notice anything else down there while you were in the hole, by the way?
The hole did keep going further. I could dive back in and see how far it goes.
Well, maybe we
Could
can
we
all
tie
go
a
with
rope
you.
to you? Oh, yeah. I guess.
Sounds good. Gemma, would you like to lead the way?
Sure. I have the gun. I'll lead the way.
A
Be
what?
careful. You don't? I mean, I don't, but you don't?
Just
I don't even know
claws.
what is this
All
strange wand?
So I hopped
Huh.
down into the hole. Now that we know
Okay.
it's not super, super deep, I hopped down into the hole. And I kind of feel around, and I feel where Nestor was talking about it continuing on. So I just kind of felt around and see behind me. All right, safe. Well, safe enough. Everybody down.
Yeah.
Stay close.
Jem, as you pop your flashlight on and you do your normal, I'm assuming pulling out what Valen knows is your 45 that you always have on you, and Slurpee and Nestor, you have probably seen some sort of carbine firearm of some sort, but nothing this compact and well manufactured for sure. And Gemma, as you get down in that hole and pop your flashlight on, you see where the clock must have been sitting, and then not 6 inches farther, there's nothing else there. It does not go any farther.
That's it.
That's it.
Back up we go.
I just
You
kind of
You have a
feel
fancy
around.
clock
Down.
and in the room that you are in, and then the doorway back into the lightless hallway where you left from.
Back to
I
the
just
lightless
feel around
hallway.
in disbelief, and just all right. There's nothing here. Everyone back. Yeah, there's nothing here.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to get out of the pit, but I do have a something that we should talk about. Is the child laughing? Do we think that's a spirit? Can we interact with them? Can we speak to them?
We
They
sure
say
can.
we can't get out, but
But you
do,
say
do,
yes.
do either of you two speak to spirits? Do you just like do that casually?
I do. Yes.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah, you, but I was okay.
Kind of don't want to talk to the weird disembodied spirit baby, but
Okay.
I think we need to talk to the disembodied spirit baby.
Might help.
Okay.
Nesta, could you like bring them? They seem to be interested in your tiny.
Up to you guys. I'm not.
Yep. Gemma, if you want to attempt to talk to the spirit in the room, roll me a 2d6 and use your psychic ability, which is a 5 instead of your overall rating of a 4. So you're going to roll the 2d6 and then add 5 to it, and you're trying to get over a 7,
2d6,
which should be very easy.
By the skin of my teeth.
Ooh.
It was an 8.
Very nice.
What was roll your house die, and was it higher than any of your other rolls?
House die was a 5.
Is that the highest one?
Yes, it was higher than my other rolls.
Okay.
Dang.
Gemma, as you concentrate, and anytime this is a good time for it, is when your house die is the highest roll. That means the house acts. The house starts moving. It knows you're there. And it, again, hates you. And so now, as Gemma, as you're starting to concentrate and looking towards the spirits, everything around you, you start hearing the floorboards in this room creak. But you have found that it's a kind of a repeating room, or at least it is as far as you can see. So the ominous sounds of all these boards creaking almost in unison as something is almost being pushed around it is just almost a cacophony of noise. And as you continue to listen to this massive noise, you know that there is something else near you in the house. And this thing now knows that you're there. Something that wasn't aware of your presence before. And so you hear screaming from someplace far away and just the thundering of footsteps. It's not related to the creaking, but the creaking almost calls whatever it is. And you hear just a loud scream. And then slowly it quiets. And that is just the house die. And now we move to the successful role of talking to the spirit in the room. And Gemma, you've done this from time to time. I think even when you were younger, you used to almost rent your services out as a medium of sorts. Sometimes when you're traveling, if you need to make a couple bucks, and you'll set up a group online and maybe meet up. And the difference is you're not a charlatan about it. You literally can talk to spirits. It's something that you've probably been able to do for a very long time. The difference with this spirit, as you're getting closer and contemplating and thinking and reaching out your mind to this thing, it's not a girl who has passed away. This is a dyed-in-the-wool simple demon. This simple demon is mainly, as you're finding, as it's starting to tease and poke at your mind. And it just keeps repeating things like, silly adults, you're never getting out. You'll never find the right time. You're going to be in here with me. And I am going to feast on your soul. You are mine now. And you just continue to hear the laugh. And even inside your mind, you are hearing the footsteps that everyone else is hearing. And the footsteps are starting to get faster. But it'll disappear in one spot, and then it'll reappear behind a pillar just out of sight. And the rest of you are understanding that this thing does not need to walk. It chooses to walk. It can show up wherever it chooses to be. At this time, it is mostly interested in your frustration of trying to exit this room. And it keeps mentioning you're never going to find the right time. You are mine now. And Gemma, you slowly kind of almost jerk back, and you have seen what you have seen. And the rest of you, while Gemma was doing this, you definitely heard the cacophony and creaking of noises and the scream and the moving around of the spirit. But only Gemma, you are the only one that understands truly what is in the room with you.
Oof. Let's get out of here. I don't know what this thing is, but it's awake.
Okay.
It knows we're here.
Is that bad? It felt bad, like just, the vibe. But
Not great. Don't
Okay.
anyone panic. Don't make any sudden moves. Just
don't panic. Yeah, don't panic.
just just act natural, or as natural as as one can in these circumstances.
Yeah. Sure, fine. Natural.
But
Yeah,
I
I'm doing it.
Yep. Not great. I think we should move very, very quickly in the direction of of that light that seems to be coming from no source. And I think we should do that now, quickly and expeditiously. So let's go. So I think
Okay.
Gemma reaches out and links an arm with Valen, and then reaches over and then links an arm with Slurpee, and then gestures for Slurpee to take Nestor in an arm, and we just start moving very quickly and purposefully toward the light.
He'll follow along. It seems to be the appropriate thing to do. It is quite spooky in here, and he's not a huge fan.
Are you heading back out of the room? Or are you just heading farther? Because there's ahead of you that follows the pillars, and then there's to the left where Slurpee's dancing lights were, and then there's the windows to the right that have some light coming into it that you don't know where the light's coming from, but that's the only currently light in the room. So which way does Gemma want to move?
Let's go where the light is coming in. That's that's a wall, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
So
so let's follow the wall.
Okay. So as Gemma, you lead your troop of happy campers towards the wall, like right under the windows where the light is the brightest. And as you're following that wall, kind of you're getting right up to where Slurpee, you've looked outside these windows that are, a good, 8 to 10 feet up. And you are now kind of against that wall, and everyone is following the wall forward. And the light, it's almost like when you're moving forward, more windows show up as you're moving forward. So this light section continues to extend. And after about, I would say, at least 2 minutes of walking, you continue to see these pillars that Valen measured. And every, feet or so, Valen, you're seeing that's pillar 2. That's pillar 5. Yep, there's pillar 2 again. 3, 4. Yep, there's pillar 5. It continues to just repeat itself. And every 5 or 6 pillars, you pass by the hole again. And then this just continues. And then you hear the laughter again of "You'll never find the right time. You're going to stay here with me now."
Did everyone else hear that? Yeah, I'm not.
All of you hear this.
Right time.
Okay.
What does this person mean by find the right time? We have the
Nesta.
we have the clock, but what's the right time?
Maybe what's the what
You're muted.
Well, let's am I?
No. Sorry. No. Not you, Slurpee. The hairless
I've
cat.
muted myself. And now
awesome.
I have chosen this time to speak. I pulled the clock out. What time does it say?
It's probably been about 10-15 minutes, so it is approximately 7:15 and 9:15 on the clock.
We'll never find the time. 2 hours apart. There are many pillars, 6 pillars repeating.
6. You got it. Exact same
Yes.
distance.
Mm-hmm.
The pit repeats between 5 and 6, I believe. Do you think there's any significance to the time of when we arrived?
7 and 9.
What time did we what time sort of was it when we got here from our place?
Yes.
You know what time it was when we were with the seer?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
When we came here to this world. This world exists
yeah.
outside of time and space. So
Yeah, this one is outside of time and space, but after the quick and simple robbery, trying, meeting Nestor's contact, it would have been pretty late at night. It would have been, like D&D time is never like 10:32 or anything like that, but it would have been late in the evening, sometime a couple hours before midnight. And then just referencing back, it was when Gemma and Valen checked their time, it was around 8:45. You may have been in the house maybe for 20 minutes or so. You're not 100% sure. Like you said, that time is wibbly wobbly here. You have no idea.
I'm gonna pull out the paper, the handwritten page that we had. Well, we're talking numbers. It should be mentioned that Gemma had picked up on the 3-day difference between February 4th and February 7th.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
just utilizing the items that we've been given within this very specific scene, you know? Okay.
It's a good point. 4
2 hours apart, 3 days apart, 6 columns with a hole between the 5 and the 6. I surmise from these clues that we should jump in the hole. We already tried that.
I got an idea.
What say you, Slurpee?
One sec. Let me try something. And I want to find sort of the first column.
Mhm.
And I want to count how long it takes me to get to basically meet that column again as I walk forward.
Yeah.
Like,
As Valen would definitely you'd be able to help Slurpee out with that, as you have been kind of it's about 8 columns in, and how fast Slurpee moves at a brisk walk. It's maybe tops of like 45 seconds to a minute, and you're good. And you're probably at a repeat again.
uh,
And when Slurpee comes to a repeat, it's like it's not literally the same column. Like if we were standing by column 1 and they get to the next column 1, they're not staying next to us.
No, they're not.
Okay.
That's the weird thing is the room starts to repeat, but you can see Slurpee at the repeat.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
But then when you look back, you know that the door you came in is a good 2-minute walk back, but everything is still kind of repeating because the hole shows up again.
Mhm.
what if we go back to the other room?
The creepy dark hallway?
Yes.
Ooh.
Because we started in
Stands to
another room,
reason.
and there was a door in that room.
Who's got the clock right now? Is
I
it out?
have the clock.
Nestor.
I'm holding it in my little hands.
Yeah. And Slurpee, as you stare at that clock and you slowly see the times moving and changing, man, you just really want to move those hands. You just start reaching out, and you have itchy fingers, and your itchy fingers just want to move the clock hands.
I mean, I will.
Oh, gee, Slurpee, your fingers look quite itchy. Here, maybe you should play with this clock.
Yeah,
And-
an
Slurpee, where do
immediate.
you move? Where do you move the clock hands to? Do you just move them surreptitiously? Do you just move them wherever you want? Do you
I'm
match them up? Do you move them to different
torn.
times?
I'm torn between trying to work with the clues, but I think I'm just gonna, by instinct, move them both to midnight.
Okay. So you move them both at the same
It's
time,
always
essentially.
midnight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Solid.
And so the right clock and the left clock are now both at the same time, which is showing midnight.
Mhm.
Yes.
And instantly when that happens, a dozen blood red eyes appear all around the clock. And they just stare at you and look, and they don't say anything. But as they start moving in closer, one of them touches Slurpee.
Ugh.
And Slurpee, I need you to roll a 2d6, and you are essentially being attacked at this time.
Am I using the house die at all or no?
You will still use the house die, but you're going to use your dexterity to, I'm assuming, try to avoid this. So you're going to roll your 2d6 plus 6, and you're going to roll your house die, essentially on the side.
A 12 total, and then the house die was less than both of those.
Okay. And as you see this thing move in, you're easily able to kind of duck out of the way, and knowing that these things have ill intent. Essentially, we are now in combat.
Ill intent.
As Nestor, you are holding this clock, and the type of combat that we're entering into the darkest house is you're not necessarily rolling initiative at this point. The heroes or our investigators are going to go first, and then the eyes are going to move second. At this point, the eyes have essentially surrounded Slurpee, and the dozen eyes kind of congeal upon themselves into making 6 very large eyes. So to kind of set the scene for everyone, you're again in the repeating room, and Nestor is holding the clock. And Slurpee is standing right next to Nestor with at least 6 of the eyes surrounding Slurpee. And I would kind of assume that Gemma and Valen are more off to the left if we're all looking directly at Nestor. Gemma and Valen are a bit to the left. So if Nestor turns immediately to his right, he's seeing Slurpee surrounded by 6 eyeballs.
And these eyeballs are disembodied floating eyes. Is that correct?
They are blood red, disembodied eyeballs all staring at you and trying to essentially run into you, just kind of essentially bumping into you at this point. And all Nestor, you know, is you do not want to be bumped into anything that is connected to these things. Who knows if it freezes you, if it sucks your life force. Nothing good has ever come out of disembodied eye unless they're yours, because you know what you're doing. You know that that your eye, you are in control of yours, but these things, no thank you. So with that, I will allow probably Nestor and Slurpee, who are closest, to go first, followed by Gemma and then Valen.
I kind of just want to reach over and change the time again.
Okay.
Because you said a dozen eyes appeared, and when I put it to midnight, so maybe if I move them both to 1.
Okay. Do you want to move the right clock to a time and the left clock to a different time, or are you moving them to the same time?
I think I'll move them both to a different time.
Okay. What time do you move the right clock to?
The right clock, I'll put it at 3 o'clock. And then the other one I'll put to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
3 days, 8 pillars. Yeah,
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. So the instant that you do that, so essentially what we're doing is, Slurpee, you're almost attacked. Like, you have been in many tense situations where there's a lot of things going on, but you are focused on the thing that got you into this, and hopefully it can then get you out of this. And the instant that those clocks click in at these different times, a little small black doorway appears in between the 2 clock faces. It is this tiny little doorway that fits into this clock. Slurpee, what do you think about when you see this doorway?
I think about actually I sort of think about, probably I'm assuming I've potentially seen it before, Magic Mansion.
Okay. And when you think about kind of entering this doorway, everyone sees Slurpee disappear. Nestor, you're left holding this clock with a black door in the middle of it, surrounded by 6 eyeballs. Now you're surrounded by 6 eyeballs, and your friend is no longer there.
And as I got sucked in, you did hear meow.
And so, Gemma, you and Valen you've been in some stuff before. Like, you both have worked together to get out of kind of some different hauntings and stuff. But again, you're usually the research person.
Yep.
Gemma's the one that goes in and will shoot their way out of something, or get into bad situations. But man, you just saw the big cat person just get sucked into this clock. This is outside of the wheelhouse at this point.
Completely.
And so we are now moving to Nestor. Nestor, you are next in the quote unquote initiative order.
Yeah, Nestor sees as Slurpee disappears into the clock and says, brilliant idea. And will then fixate also on the tiny door of
disappear into the clock, and the clock falls to the ground and then comes resting, staring at both Gemma and Valen. And the eyes slowly start turning towards the only people left in this room. And Gemma, you are up next.
Sorry, guys.
I am going to grab Valen's.
Yep.
I'm gonna grab Valen just by a wing, and we're gonna blue skidoo into this clock because I don't want to be around these eyeballs.
Yeah, no spectacle. They won't see us leaving.
No, we're gonna run. We're out of here.
You're gonna pull one over their
Okay.
eyes.
And so exactly that, you all instantly disappear into into this clock, and full of darkness and who knows what, and you find yourself in a completely different room. There's no clock, there's no child, there's no demon, and the room is completely empty.
Huh.
There's a rug in the middle of the room. There's a very stout door in front of you and two passages, one leading to the left, one leading to the right, and an oval blue rug with a gold embroidery that lies upon this kind of stone floor. The rug itself is worn and stained. I'm sure they're not blood stains. And it appears if someone has tried to scrub them to kind of get them out, but that didn't work very well.
Mm-mm.
And real quick, we have appeared in this room at the bottom of this carpet, the top of this carpet, just using sort of up and down on this.
Yep, you are to the bottom left.
Gotcha.
So you are in I can point here instead of at my screen. So you are in this section right here.
Slurpee, you're brilliant. Well done. You found a way forward.
I guess so. Woo! That was almost real bad, wasn't it, guys?
Oh, how did we do that?
We all saw those. That was. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna
I wonder what's
I'm not
underneath
gonna
this rug.
process that one. Ew! Don't touch that.
I'm touching it.
Oh.
Well, do you pull up the rug?
Yes.
Okay. There is a folded piece of paper beneath the rug, and it again appears from a page torn from the book. I will. Yep, I will.
This is a crime scene.
Okay, and I have again copied the text into Discord, as well as dumped it up here on the screen. So again, a handwritten note appears like it's torn from a journal. April 7th. The bone key allowed me into the armory for the first time. I had no idea there was such a place in the house. I took a knife from there, and it seemed to want to leave with me. April 9th. This knife, this eager knife, it wishes to kill. I should return it to the armory. I'm afraid of that place, however. Something dwells there now. I can feel it. I can smell it, like metal shavings and newly drawn blood. Whatever it is like the knife. Perhaps they are one. Perhaps they should be reunited. Again, Valen, it's pretty simple that it seems to be torn from the same journal.
Mm-hmm. Same writing.
Yep, same writing, same same thing. Like, it's definitely again explaining what is occurring. But yeah,
It's February, March, April. 2-3 months, or 2
3
months,
months.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then another 3 days.
Interesting catch. Yep.
And then the dates match the original times on the clock.
7 and
That
9.
I like. Mm-hmm.
Do you think we have to get to the first room of the house, which would be the entrance? Would be number one.
Entirely a possibility. And if such a thing were to be true, then that same clock exists somewhere in this very room.
And Nestor then goes over to the door and dramatically flings it open.
which door are you going to?
a big double door right in front of us.
The big door in front. Hold on 1 second. We will go to that door. So you see this very stout double door in front of you, and as Nestor, as you said, you see this man who triumphantly has braved many portions of this dark house. And as you walk forward and you grab the ornate handles, you push or pull?
I push.
It's locked.
I pull.
It's locked.
Oh, there it is.
You now see this man triumphantly storming forward and triumphantly he pauses and then turns and then pulls. It is locked.
That's
Need some
sad
help?
to watch.
We need the bone key or Slurpee. Yeah, give it a shot.
I give a shot. Yeah, I'll give 2d6 plus the house die. Give it a shot.
To add your dexterity to it. We're going to do that for your lock picking.
Ooh. Okay, here's a question. What if they're all this so it's 12 total. But all the numbers were the same.
Tell me what you rolled.
I rolled a 3 on everything, even the house die.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, with that case, actually, it doesn't. Roll me an extra d6 because you're using your thieves tool, so we'll give you a boon.
That was a 2.
Okay, so we'll still use your 3. In this situation, your house die is still, it's not your highest roll. It is an equal roll. So there's many things in the rules that even reference when you roll the same. There's variants that you can use for different types of rolling. In this situation, since you rolled all 3s, that's extremely exceptional. Just because of that, I am going to give this as a definite success, just because of how difficult it was that you rolled all the same number. So congratulations. As you hear Slurpee start messing with this thing and just sliding right up to it, and it goes to a click, 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 and then even Slurpee, almost to a surprise, like you didn't think that you got all the tumblers. Like, you've done this, like you were only on like 3 out of what you're guessing is 5. And the door just seemed to kind of just agree with you and just pop open.
All right. Did it open inward? Did it open inward or outward?
You haven't opened it yet. You know it's unlocked, and it appears, as Slurpee, as you're looking at these hinges, the door opens. It will open towards you.
Okay, I'm gonna open only one door at the moment because I'm used to traps.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell everybody to take a step back real quick. And I'm just gonna open the one door with me behind it.
Okay. As you kind of open, well, as you do open the door, as you open the door, you're kind of peeking in, and it appears to be a gallery. There are several, appear to be, from what you can see, framed paintings, and you're kind of see someone that might be there in there reviewing some of the paintings. Like, it's hard to see as you're just kind of poking as you're kind of just looking in.
Well, what do you see?
Paintings and a person.
Yeah, you're not sure if you actually see a person or not. There might be a person in there. You're not quite sure.
There might be somebody in there. It's kind of hard to tell.
Oh,
Maybe we should yell.
no.
Hey, you, good sir.
I meant like a stage whisper, yell. Nestor.
Hey, you. Hey, I can't do it. I don't
Damage
know how
is
to do
done.
that. Yeah.
Nestor is going to
Can't
try to
unring
get the
that bell.
attention of the strange shadowy figure in the gallery.
Okay, so I just missed that. What was the consensus of the plan?
Nestor yelled.
Far too loud.
Okay, What did you yell into the room?
Oh, hey, you there, good sir.
And you do not get an answer.
Nestor will walk into the room and take a look at these paintings on his way towards. Is this a similar situation where like there's like a shadowy person kind of at the edge of vision, or is it like there's clearly someone who is there standing in the
Um,
gallery?
as you walk in, you don't see anyone.
Oh.
As you walk in, there is a long red and gold carpet that trails down the center of the room, and there's paintings that are old. Some are older than others. Like some of the frames appear almost chewed upon.
Hmm. And does it look like up ahead and towards the right there is a stairwell leading up? Is that right?
You're entering. So you're entering. um, Okay, so you're entering from this section here.
Mhm.
So yes, as you move towards, there is another doorway. It is in fact a doorway that you can see that is around the corner.
Mm.
So to your left is a painting of a child, and there's like a small pillar, and then on your right you see something that appears to be kind of like a smiling man of some sort.
Hmm. Nestor will continue down the gallery, looking at each of these paintings in turn, particularly looking to see if any of them are a painting of a clock.
Um, as Nestor starts moving into the room, does anyone else follow? Is everyone else remaining in the other room?
I'll follow after.
Is it safe? Oh my gosh, are you just gonna go in like that?
Nestor will take a few deep breaths. How does the room smell?
Old. Um, same kind of similar condition to the paintings. Things are old. It's kind of dirty. To you, there's some mold involved, but nothing worse than you've been in other places. I don't know. It's not bad.
See,
It's
looking at the
okay.
top down, did Nestor come in from the left or from the bottom right?
Nestor
Left.
came in from the left.
Okay. And it looks like a staircase or a doorway.
Yep. When you go around the corner, there is a doorway there. And the door is currently closed. And as everyone kind of assuming eventually enters the room, in order from left to right, on the top is a picture of a child. The next picture is an old woman,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of spider woman is after that, and then almost like an infant, and then a horse. So, and then on the right, on the bottom of the screen, from left to right, is a smiling man, a pyramid, and then one is empty. If anyone wants to look at any of the paintings specifically, then I can show you a picture of the painting.
I don't know which one would be related to what we need.
Let's look at the little kid.
Yeah,
That's
because
smart.
there was the giggling.
Mhm.
So as you look at the picture of the child, this is a haunted portrait of a young boy, but the portion of the canvas in which the eyes were painted has been specifically torn away, as if they have been specifically removed from the painting. And otherwise, the painting just seems to be a small child, and that's mostly it.
Now, when you say eyes removed, do we mean like scratched out, or do we mean like Scooby Doo villain peeking through the back of the painting, eyes following you through the room?
Excellent question. It appears as if someone has purposely cut or tore a portion of the painting away. This was appeared to be, from your experience, a very deliberate action, where someone has either cut or torn a piece of this painting away. This isn't done like, like delicately, like you could peek behind this painting. This is something where someone either out of anger or necessity tore pieces of this painting away.
Could I try and
Huh.
take the painting down?
Yeah, sure.
Just like,
How do
yeah.
you're just grabbing it from the side and like
Yeah,
as
I mean, I don't know how wide or huge it is, but I think I would
Mhm.
probably just try and like lift it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, as you go to remove the painting, it is completely stuck in place. Like it is, for all intents and purposes, attached to the wall.
Hmm.
And as certainly as you're prone to do, to poke around and investigate, and you're used to looking for secret doors and that kind of stuff. So a claw comes out, and you're following along, the back corners, kind of along, along the painting. This painting is not just attached to the wall. This painting is part of the wall. Like there is not a part where the wall ends and the painting somehow begins. It is as if the painting has just grown out of this wall. It is, but the painting is not painted on the wall, but like with the frame and everything, it is almost like it just grew out of the wall and it just at some point just decided to be here.
Yeah.
Can I reach my little hand in through the eye hole?
Yeah, sure.
Do I f-
And your hand
Yeah, that's
falls off.
right.
No. Instantly when you're kind of pushing, when you kind of reach into where they're missing, just back behind it, it's just wood. Like there's not necessarily a hole behind it or anything like that. You're poking around with your actually pretty big claws. You're poking around into where it is. There's nothing you can't you can't even pull up behind the painting itself. As if the house is just telling you, no, this thing is here. Like
I guess I was more wondering if I can feel anything behind the canvas of the painting. Like
nope.
it's just wall. It's just wall.
Yep.
Okay.
It is just wall.
Pull my hand
Excellent
out and
question.
let them know. Like, there's nothing back there. It just took its eyes out.
Huh. Is this
Wonder
the
if this is the
only
only-
defaced? Great minds, it's investigative thinking. Any other paintings that are defaced?
As Valen, as you kind of start, you're almost like a curator, like kind of walking down and seeing the painting of this very strange smiling man and this pyramid and passing through. There's nothing else that's defaced.
Oh.
There is the empty frame is the one that's most telling, which is the closest one to the door, farthest away from where you came in. And there's no painting there.
Any
There's
remnants of a painting, as if it might have been
no,
torn?
not that you can see. Um, like there's nothing. It's just there's nothing there. It's like it is a spot that's waiting for something. Like it's waiting for something to be added there. So yeah. But nothing else has been defaced. There's other paintings that can be viewed, and then there is the exit towards the bottom.
Okay, and I talk to
Maybe-
spirits and ask if that kid on the wall is the same little kid we've been hearing.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me another check for me using your psychic abilities, which is going to be a 5. You're going to roll 2d6, add 5 to it, roll your house dice separately, and tell me if your house die is the highest.
Ooh, okay, triple fives, 15, and then the house die is a 1.
All right.
Okay. So your 2d6 plus 4 would have given you 10, 14. So more than enough. And as you're as you're trying to communicate to the spirits and to try to get some answers to what you're doing, there's another voice that is different from the one that you had spoken to in essentially in the repeating room. Is that it tells you can't trust your friends in here. They're only here to get the treasure. You will be left alone, and you will not make it out. Your friends will leave you. And that's all you hear in your mind.
At that point, I just kind of brush it off, and that sounds horrible, but I'm just kind of like, you know, I've heard this lie before. We tried this before. It was called depression. It didn't work last time. It's not working now. So
Been through that
so can you
haunting.
just tell me if the kid on the wall isn't the same kid we've been hearing?
Yeah, it didn't even. Nope, that's all you heard in your brain.
Mm.
And I'm the only one that, so I'm the only one that heard that. Okay.
Yes,
So
you're the
can
only
I
one that
tell
heard that.
everyone what I heard?
That's up to you. It's your mind.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it didn't tell me anything about the voice or like the little kid giggling that we heard, but it did tell me that you guys are only here for the treasure, and that you're going to abandon me, and woe is me, wailing and gnashing of teeth.
You drove me to work. So I can't really
I feed your
leave
plants
you.
when you're out of town. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't want to steal. I just only the cat wants to steal.
Rule number 1 of adventuring with a group: no one gets left behind. No one.
That's.
Wanna steal? It's just what I do.
I think that's an addiction.
Oh, it's a job.
We'll talk about the details later.
Regardless, I mean, here's the thing: either we trust each other or we die in here.
I know. I
We've
mean,
got to stick together. We can't let this. The spirits turn us against one another.
Yeah, I'm with a professional cat
no,
burglar.
nice
It's fine.
try,
Yeah.
spirits.
I like treasure, but I like living more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strange for you, Valen, when in your history of being the researcher, being the person that everyone comes to with questions, with the answers, what Gemma says that she heard in her mind is something that you have had deep down for a long time. People show up wanting answers. They know that you can provide that answers, and they're there for what you can give them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the outside, they're giving you attention. This is fun. Like, this is cool. Like, but you're never
Temporarily.
inside. Like, if there is a bank heist, you're never the one that's walking out with the bag of money.
Never.
You're the one that set it up. Like, you're the brains behind the operation.
You know how much
Like-
work has to go into that?
I mean, so did Gemma really get lied to?
No.
So, but as you're moving forward, and you're probably thinking this to yourself as you're again curating, the only person that probably understands any of these paintings anyway.
The only one that is actually trying to get out. What are they
Everyone
doing?
else is on an adventure. This is an adventure. You could die in here.
Meant to
It's like-
investigate and leave.
This is some kind of Dungeon and Dragon garbage. Real life. Cat person and the gnome shows up.
You're such an instigator.
Ah,
I'm stomping a little bit more, you know? giving
Yeah.
some more side eye to the party as I look up and down the
Yes, sir.
photos.
Yeah. Is there
Slurpee is
anyone you want to
literally
look
doing
at?
the.
Anyone you want to look at specifically? Does everyone feel like you found what you need to find here? Or
I mean, um, as someone who plays a lot of Secret World, there's no way I can walk out of this room without looking at the pyramid painting. Excuse me. So yeah, Nestor approaches this painting of the pyramid, his eyes scanning it, looking for any kind of clues, numbers or otherwise.
yeah. Let's take a look at our pyramid painting, huh?
Hmm.
So as this painting is mostly in gray tones, with a dark bird of prey swooping down,
That could be
coming right towards you in the background. You can easily see the pyramid built of gray stone. And you're just kind of and this is essentially kind of what you see.
Hmm. Nestor's going to take a closer look at this owl here, and is going to
Mhm.
just like run his hands across the painting, especially
Yeah.
on the owl. And I believe.
And
Oh, okay, never mind.
yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me what
Oh
you're
no,
kind
I
of.
thought the name of the painting was The Darkest House, but then I realized that's just the name of the overlay. Never mind.
Oh yes,
Name of the game.
this is the artist that did however create this painting. So did create this image for us. So we do appreciate that. But as Nestor goes and touches it, and Nestor disappears. And as everyone kind of continues looking at where he disappeared from, you see Nestor reappear in the painting. And you are about
Oh.
half the size of the bird, um, painted in the same style, in the same color palette the rest of as the rest of painting. And so, and as
Nestor?
you're, yep.
Nestor, can you hear us?
Can I hear? Can I hear them?
It's extremely faint, and when you kind of look around, you are indeed in this painting, and there is a massive bird that is done swooping towards you. And I'm going to need you to roll a defense as a massive owl is coming swooping towards you, claws out. So I need you to roll. And again, you have, because you are being attacked physically, you are going to be able to roll with advantage because of your mage armor. You're
Oh,
going
good
to
call.
be, let's see, and add 5 to your roll due to your mage armor instead of the 4 for your rating. So 2d6, add 5. Tell me what
Right.
you get.
It's going to be dropping the 1 here, so that is 6 and a 2. It's 8 plus 5 is 13, and my house die got a 1, so
Okay.
no house die for.
Yeah. Luckily, your smaller stature has saved your life, much as it done in many other times, as you hit the dirt and you get sand in your mouth, and this bird, just screeches as it moves by. And you are able to barely avoid that attack, and we will then move back to the party who is currently outside the painting. But I guess before we do that, what you can see, obviously you're going to be looking around you, is that essentially inside the painting, you see the pyramid before you. It's difficult because your world is now in this dark gray color palette that you're involved in. And so it's not really, it's kind of difficult to see this isn't exactly like the Take On Me music video where you're in like a drawing, but this is that you're in this color palette and you're still trying to adjust to what you can see. So you see the moon in the background, this pyramid, and there is a door at the base of that structure. And that's currently kind of what you're seeing right now. And definitely in the painting, you definitely see it's almost like a kind of like a flip book almost. Is there it's that slow animation of the bird slowly moved by and almost went out of literal frame.
Hmm.
And then you see Nestor kind of tip over. And then this and then there is almost like a door in the background. So we will move back to our three friends outside of the painting.
Is the owl still in the painting?
The owl is in the painting, but you cannot see where the owl is. The owl has definitely not left the painting, but it's not in view of the painting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we
Yes.
see do we see the door?
Yes, you do see the little door.
Slurpy's gonna look at the other two and go, might as well, and just kind of try and leap or go into the painting. He's gonna touch it and hope for the best.
The minute you touch that painting, you are standing in some desert, standing next to Nestor, who is laying down in the dirt after what you are assuming have just narrowly avoided an attack. And you hear screeching of an owl as the owl is wheeling around, and it essentially, for you, Slurpy, it is a giant owl. It is something that not necessarily like ride on giant, but this baby is a giant owl. And then Gemma and Valen, you
as
are
it-
standing outside the painting.
I'm gonna grab. Can I actually? Sorry, let me see. I'm just gonna. I guess I'm gonna help Nestor up.
Mhm.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know.
And
Yeah, you know, I'm actually gonna jump to I have a gun
Okay.
and I can actually shoot the big owl.
okay.
I have
And
a
before
gun.
we
I
move
love it.
into the 45 solving all our problems like America, Valen, what is your plan?
So, I mean, I think we established quite well that I don't feel as trusting of this group, and they've just tossed themselves into a painting. Nobody investigated it like I tried to. So you know, a little peeved about that.
Mhm.
And yeah, this isn't how we solve. This isn't how we investigate. Well, this is defacing art. And if they're going to deface art, then I should deface the art. And can I tear down this painting? Like the paper part.
Let's see. Let's check some of your stats real quick, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Uh-huh.
Let's do. Okay, so both your occult and your telekinesis are both at a 5. Let's. Do you want to pull out your sword?
Yeah.
Yeah,
From my
let's do that.
flamingo cane.
Let's pull and see. And no one, the rest of you can't see this, but you see Valen for the first time draw a sword from their cane. And using some of your intelligence, we'll roll it at the 5. We'll do it at your occult of 5, and because we're not fencing here. And so go ahead and roll a 2d6. Add the 5 to it, and then roll the house die on the side, and only tell me the house die if it's higher.
12 total, and house die is not higher.
At this point, what you're able to do is you make this cut first across the top. It's cruder than you would like. You've seen seen those art heist movies, you know, where they kind of cut the painting out and everything like that, and they roll it up. And so you start cutting the painting out, and it slowly drifts to the ground, and you roll it up.
Put it in my
And I
bag.
think that's where we're going to stop for tonight.
We're just
Um,
in the painting now.
You're just in the painting right now. And the reason we
Yeah.
are stopping here, we're at 2 hours and around 34 minutes of stream time. This is definitely not this, as we do for this system is built for sometimes for one shots, but essentially really good for, as we can see, an ongoing campaign, where you have several sessions within the house and you're working through your truths and your lies, to then exit the house. And so we only moved through 3 of the rooms in total. And when you kind of take a look at this house in general, you're able to see generally a map
Oh
of the
shit.
entire house.
Dang.
This is a
Nice.
big baby. And so
Oh, dang.
so this is literally just kind of an introduction into kind of the house system, and I really appreciate everyone coming on this ride with us.
Can we come
And
back?
again,
Can we come back?
I'll unravel that paper.
we'll have to figure that out. And if we do want to come back and want to go through the door in the pyramid to even try to get back in there, I want everyone to make sure that we're going to be closing the giveaway in probably the next minute or two. So if you have not already, make sure that you do the exclamation part and Monte to enter the giveaway, and then I will have Kristen close that in another minute. Until then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what this channel is doing over the next couple days, because just like everyone else, we have our favorite month of October is going on. And tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, At the Threshold airs here on this channel. And then At the Threshold season finale. And then Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, our favorite producer, Kat or Autumn Knox, is doing a My Little Pony special Halloween one-shot. And I am super excited to take part in that, and my first time playing My Little Pony. And let's see. And then once we are going to be closing it here in another minute, and then Kristen will be able to draw our winner. And then I will have that winner contact me through Whisper, sending me their email address. And if you want the book, also including your mailing address, you know, the thing you need to actually get the book. But while we're waiting for that drawing to be done, let's go around, and I'm going to do it in order that I see on my screen. And then I need all our players, starting with TV, to tell me who you are, who you played, where we can find you, what you're up to, and then we'll go from there. So TV, go ahead, please.
Yeah. My name is TV Farrell. I played Slurpee, the Tabaxi rogue, this evening, who is based on my actual cat, because that's just how easy it is to turn a character into this game. It's really you can catch me on Thursdays and Saturdays over at Exquisite Corpse Presents, where I'm in a couple different things. And on Tuesdays here on this channel, where I play in Misguided Magic, and over on Twitter at TV Farrell, where I mostly complain about House of the Dragon. That's usually what's been going on with me lately. And I'll pass it off to my darlingest, dearingest M.
Oh, TV. I am M. St. Marie. I have been Gemma Hightower. Pronouns are she, her. You can find me on every other Monday night on Exquisite Corpse Presents and Divine Intervention Side A as your resident goddess, Suki Faye Hollis. And if you are over 18, you can find me on OnlyFans, M. St. Marie. And if you're under 18, you can find me on the Little Bird app, Twitter, at the M. St. Marie, because I'm dumb and I didn't preserve my. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I'm going to pass it to the lovely Bee, who has been wonderful to play with tonight.
Thank you. Hello, all. I've been your non-binary busy bee. You can find me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. Tonight, I played the delightful Valen. I love playing like the opposite of whatever kind of is going on. You know, we had the cat and then the hairless cat. And then my partner in investigation. So I felt like I really had to be like, we needed a coward. Somebody who really felt the fear of this house. So I enjoyed just,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I just got to feel fear for 3 hours straight, and it was delightful. So if you want to follow some of my work where I'm slightly less fearful, I did a Halloween one-shot with 12-sided stories. I think it's about 3 episodes. Not playing somebody entirely afraid. Am I useful though? Probably not. You can also catch me doing a bunch of other podcast stuff. Honestly, look at my name. I don't really know what I do, so you have to figure it out for me. Last but not least, Ian, go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name is Ian Gould. Pronouns he, him. You can catch me every Friday over at Fae Forge Academy. You can also catch me over on DM's Guild if you're ever looking for a product to drop into your home game, whether it's for DMs or for characters. Just search me over at DM's Guild. Right now, I think the last product we put out was a player compendium, a player handbook for Spelljammer. For those of you that have played the new Spelljammer setting developed by WotC, it was strangely lacking in character options. So we just developed a shitload of subclasses. And yes, it is called the Spelljammer's Cookbook. And yes, it is filled with jam puns. And yes, it does have jam recipes in it. Go check it out.
I do want to unmute myself first. I do want to thank all our players for coming with us on this ride. Playing a horror game is not always the safest thing in the world. You have to trust the people you're playing with. We also used Monte Cook's consent form, which are a requirement or should be a requirement for all games. You can play these type of horror games, and even in the Darkest House, it is actually very specific about content, using these disclaimers and using these safety tools. Monte Cook has always been huge. That's been a big part of everything that they do. It is one of the safest companies that I have ever volunteered and worked with in the past. And so I have been very thankful to meet some of the people there. So thank you very much for all our players. Thank you to Kristen and Kat for allowing me to take charge of this channel for even a little bit. It has been a lot of fun as a new streamer and as a new DM and as a new player. So I really appreciate it. And if we can get our drawing recipient, and then we will close down for the evening. Well, thank you again. Okay, we have Jason.
You cat pause. Oh.
Yeah, Jason C_ Shadowmane as won the giveaway. Jason, thank you very much. Please whisper to me
All right,
directly. Congratulations. Please whisper to me directly your email address. Let me know if you want the app or if you want the book. If you want the book, I'm going to need, I still see him in here, I believe. Where'd he go? He was in here a minute ago.
The drum roll continues.
I know, it's still yes.
Legend says they're still drumming.
Yeah.
They're still drumming. Do we lose them? I don't see them listed in the users as of right now. Roll again, please. I think they might have left. So everyone hang out, please, another minute while we do another. And if they do come back and they do get a hold of me later, Nightbot is one to give you away. Congratulations, Nightbot.
Nightbot wins!
Yay. Oh, Ian, you want a copy?
Yay!
That's right, my dude.
Oh, that's so cute.
Congratulations, Ian. I believe I have your email and stuff, and your contact information, so I will
That's
get that
true.
through Discord.
And I'm here.
So congratulations. If Jason
Thank
does
you.
get a hold of me, I will possibly sponsor that myself.
All right. Well, we'll figure that
So we
out.
will figure that out. But anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to Rainbow and Razor Blades Productions. Again, I really appreciate everyone taking the time, and I have not played with pretty much 3 out of the 4 of you before. So this has been very exciting to play with all of you. So again, thank you very much for everyone that was tuning in, and we hoped okay, I just had to read one of the things from our producer. So we are going to be done for the night. So thank you again, everyone. Have a safe and spooky Halloween, and I hope to see everyone sometime soon. Bye. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.